Hey everyone, thanks for clicking. This is Rocky, and how good is Daredevil right now? This show is so amazing, and it's taking everything I have not to completely binge watch all 13 episodes, so I'm taking my time through it. So this video is going to be my top moments from episode 2 of Daredevil. Number 4, the death of Jack Murdock. In this episode's flashbacks, we get a few moments between Jack and young Matt that showcase the love they had for each other. Also, we see how much Jack is kind of pushing Matt to be better than himself by making him study and just making sure he gets all his work done, make sure he's studying his braille. We just get that fatherly love, but that fatherly push that, he wants his son to have a better life. Shortly after Matt's accident, Jack is given an offer to throw a fight for a pretty big payoff. At first he declines, as this is counter to everything he's been teaching his son in regards to being a stand-up person and never staying down, always getting up. Though Jack ends up taking the deal, as he knows he needs to take care of Matt, as he's blind and the added medical costs and everything. He has all that playing in the back of his head during this scene. Unknown to Jack, Matt actually hears the entire conversation and later reminds his father that Murdocks always get up. This prompts Jack to make the decision that costs him his life. Instead of throwing the fight, he knocks his opponent out after placing a massive bet on himself and leaving it to Matt. This could almost be looked at as the birth of Daredevil, as it kind of started that hunger within Matt for justice. Number 3, Foggy and Karen up all night. I really love the scenes with Karen and Foggy in this episode, as we see more of Karen's kind of vulnerability and the sweeter side of Foggy. It takes a lot of drinks, but Foggy finally finds out that Karen can only see the darkness in the city now, as based on the first episode with everything she went through, being attacked multiple times and just everything that happened in her apartment, everything. She can see nothing but shadows and darkness and threats. But, Foggy reminds her that there's still light and hope within Hell's Kitchen. Foggy definitely seems to be falling for Karen, but it's hard to tell at this point if she's kind of developing feelings for him as well. Beyond friendship, of course. It does seem that she is attracted to Matt, which does kind of match up to the comics. At one point in the comics, there was basically a love triangle between Matt, Karen, and Foggy, though Karen did eventually choose Matt for at least a little while. So it seems they are kind of laying the groundwork for this, but not sure if we'll see any payoff with only 13 episodes. Still, I gotta say, their scene outside of Matt's door was about the funniest scene I've seen in a while. Makes me wonder if maybe they actually got drunk on set before they did the scene. But either way, they portrayed drunk very well in that scene, so kudos to them. Number 2, thanks Claire. Hello, Rosario Dawson, and wow, she totally delivered in this episode. She is such an amazing actress, and I am so loving what she's bringing to the show. We get a quick introduction to her as she saves Matt's life. He walked into a trap by the Russians and was beat up really bad. Matt is very trusting of her right away, as she chose to help him as opposed to calling the cops, which would seem unnatural to most, as basically he was in a black costume with a mask partially on his face. Most would call a cop right away. She did not. She chose to help him. We find out that she's a nurse, and over the last few weeks has seen the outcome of Daredevil's efforts. She really wants to believe in what he's doing, but some of his methods kind of scare her a little bit. Matt pushes her to not give in to the fears. When you give in to fear, you allow the villains to win, right? So he's wanting basically to make her an ally. Number 1, because he knows he's going to end up getting hurt again, and having a nurse as a friend is kind of a pretty good thing. And number 2, like I said, he trusts her. He gets feelings about people. It's kind of tied into his senses. He can read people very well, and he can definitely feel that he can trust her. She ends up going all in as she assists him in basically torturing a man for information on the kidnapped child. Daredevil tells her to find a different place to stay after everything, and that he might call on her again, as he's probably going to need fixing up. Now, Claire could end up crossing over into the other Netflix Marvel shows, as in the comics she had a very on and off again relationship with Luke Cage, so I imagine she's going to be popping up in that show. And I'm starting to get the feeling that we're going to see quite a few characters bounce between all the shows leading up to the Defenders. And, that just seems a very Marvel and kind of Whedon-esque kind of thing to do, just building that network of connections with all the shows tying back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's just a very brilliant thing to do, and I am so loving what Marvel's building and continuing to do right now. Alright, number 1, we always get up. Throughout this episode, we get to see just how much pain Daredevil can tolerate. Claire determines he has multiple broken ribs, possible concussion, as well as a puncture wound. All this, and he still manages to take out the Russian agent sent to find him, and he goes after the kidnapped boy from the end of episode 1. The fight scene towards the end was amazing. You could clearly see that Matt was not 100%, but he still went after the Russian gang with everything he had. It is hard to imagine someone that injured being able to move, let alone fight, but he is a superhero after all, so that just shows his determination to help those that need it, to bring justice to Hell's Kitchen. It just goes to reinforce everything that's important to his character at this point. The whole sequence reminded me of scenes from the Raid movies, as well as the original Old Boy, and I kind of get a feeling that was done on purpose as kind of an homage to that style of movie. The choreography is still holding itself to a very high standard, and I don't imagine they're going to lower it anytime soon. For a good chunk of the fight, I was wondering if either Matt was going to pass out or the thugs. They all looked exhausted, which I found very refreshing, considering most modern fight scenes show nothing but high energy, high impact the whole time. It really helps pull a viewer in, as well as it reinforces the grittiness the series is going for and grounding it in a real landscape as opposed to a more comic book landscape. Matt pushes through all the pain and saves the kidnapped boy. The Russian bosses are going to be so pissed. Okay, so my final thoughts on this episode. It definitely had some really great moments that tied into the comics, as well as the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe. Since Matt does not give his name to Claire, she actually starts calling him Mike. This is a reference to the twin brother Matt made up to try and explain away his behaviors, as well as his battle wounds in the comics. And it actually fooled people. Also, the fighter Matt's father was supposed to throw the fight against was a young Carl Crusher Creel, also known as the Absorbing Man. Yep, that's right, the same guy from the first couple of episodes from Season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I just love all these subtle ways they are tying Daredevil into the larger cinematic universe, and none of it seems out of place. It all seems natural. There's just a great flow and a great progression. Again, Marvel is doing something brilliant here, connecting everything together, and again, it just feels natural. Nothing feels forced. So yeah, again, I'm really enjoying Daredevil. I hope you guys are as well. These are my top moments. Go and let me know your top moments down below. And if you have any questions on any of the characters or anything brought up in the episode, go and put those down in the comments below as well. I'll be more than happy to go over that information with you guys. And if you've enjoyed the video, I'd ask you to go ahead and pound that like button and definitely subscribe to my channel. That way you can receive an alert when I post my next Daredevil video, as well as the other Marvel and DC videos I'm doing right now. And if you have gone ahead and subscribed already, thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming on board, and I so hope you're enjoying the videos. Alright, all that being said, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day now. Bye.